The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, family owned and operated since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, wide selection of great jewelry pieces. JMullinsJewelry.com. It'll be Christmas time before we know it. And we've got head coach of the Oakland Patriots, Kevin Creasy, joining us this morning. And, Coach, congrats on the first-round win over the Blue Devils.
Appreciate it. It was a big win for the Patriots.
Sure was. If you're an Oakland fan, when you say the name Lebanon, it brings up a lot of good memories of some great contests. They were a region foe for years.
Yes, I know. I've looked into the history of that, and Lebanon's always played us tough. And I think the overall series is like 16-13 in favor of Oakland. But, there were some really good Oakland teams that fell to the hands of some good Lebanon teams.
It was kind of reminiscent of that kind of thing last night with Riverdale playing Cookeville. They were, of course, it was, Oakland, Riverdale, Cookeville, Warren County, Sparta, if you can believe it, and Lebanon, and back in the day. And that just brings back some old memories from 30-plus years ago, I guess.
I guarantee there were some good football games back then.
Sure were. So, last night, you kind of jumped out on top pretty quick, and, that's what you like to do in the opening round of the playoffs.
Well, give Lebanon credit. They took a kickoff past our 50-yard line and did a heck of a job of driving the ball down to our goal line, and our defense, really bowed their backs and, had a critical 3rd and goal stop on the 1. Probably 4th and inches, we were able to stop them from scoring, and give them credit. I would have went for it as well. It was literally inches, and our defense did a heck of a job. Cam Sanders playing nose guard, strongest guy on our team, reset the line of scrimmage, and we got some penetration, and we got the ball on the 1-inch line, literally the 1-inch line, but the whole ball game could have went different if they carried that in and score right there. And credit to our defense. Coach Watson did a good job of preparing our guys this week, and situation, they knew the situation and how to handle it. And credit to our offensive line for getting us out of our own end zone, and ended up doing some wildcat and getting the ball out of our own 1-inch line, and went 99 yards the opening drive. Put together a double-digit play drive and went 99 yards and set the tone for the rest of the game.
Well, speaking of your defense had the next score, even with the fumble recovery. And what was it, Wade, who had the fumble recovery for TD?
Nehemiah Wade, he scooped it right up and went on in the end zone. I thought it was a heck of a play. And so, it was just crushing to Lebanon, for those guys to be stopped on 4 plays inside the 10 and then turn right back around and we go 99 and score. We have a good kickoff cover, and then the very next play, Nehemiah Wade, he takes the ball in the end zone, and it's 14-0 before you know it.
Defense, especially when you get into the playoffs, your defense helps to give your offense opportunities all season, of course, if they can get the offense back out on the field. But if you don't have a good defense, you get exposed in the playoffs pretty quick, don't you?
Yeah, I think you look at the 4 games that were from our region. Of course, first off, you notice that Rutherford County went 3-0, but also you notice that the 4 best defenses won. I think Mount Juliet, has a really good defense, and so they won their game. And then Blackman has a great defense. Riverdale has a great defense. And, ours gets overlooked a lot of times, but our defense plays really well too. So, that's kind of what wins you ball games, especially when the weather gets a little cooler and, conditions get a little worse. And you look at how our Riverdale game turned out a week ago. we never drove the ball on Riverdale. We got good opportunities because of our defense, good field position because of our defense, and so they set up a lot of scores. And the Riverdale Oakland game could have easily been a 7-6 ball game or
Sure.
a 22-21 ball game, but it was because the defenses both set up each other in great field position.
We have Kevin Creasy joining us as we talk Oakland football this morning. The final score last night was 41-0, the victory over the Blue Devils. And what was it, 27-0 at halftime, I think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we kind of talked about the team defensively. Let's look at some of your offensive stars last night. This kid continues to amaze me, not only what he does on offense but defense, so this is kind of a good way to kind of segue to both, and that's Chase Bandy. I mean, he's out there just about every snap, isn't he?
Yes. Chase is one of those warriors that just plays both sides of the ball, and he's so important to us on both sides of the ball. Had some big time catches. I think he had like 90 yards receiving. He had 2 carries for 25 yards, so he had over 100 yards of offense. Had some good coverage at cornerback, can play safety as well. Had several tackles. But, yeah, Chase Bandy is a senior, having a great year as a senior.
DeJuan Morris got his touches last night, had a couple of touchdowns. Actually was on the receiving end of a few passes from your son Creasy too.
Yeah. DeJuan, able to block well, run well, catch well out of the backfield. Split him out at receiver. He does a heck of a job. Caught a big red zone third down completion. Kyler had a good night. I think he was 13 for 16. 140 yards, something like that. But only to have 3 incompletions, that's pretty good. Offensive line did a heck of a job of pass protecting and running the ball well. Craig Tutt, I think, had 3 touchdowns. Over 100 yards for Craig Tutt, and I think he only had 9 carries. And he's another guy that plays both sides of the ball.
That's 11 yards per carry, by the way. You'd take that every game, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we'll take 11 yards a carry. Makes play calling a whole lot easier. And then DeJuan actually got in a couple snaps of defense last night. So he's going to be one of those guys that we're relying heavily on. He's on our punt block team now, and so we've got a philosophy. We want everybody to go one way. But when it's playoff time, we don't want our best players over there clapping and cheering on. We want them on the field, and so that's kind of the philosophy we've gone to since week 10.
Certainly, obviously makes sense, and because you start to have to, especially after the first week, you have to go back through teams that you've played already. Riverdale and Blackman going to play, for instance, next week, and Coffee County was just 1 score away from having to rematch in that game with you guys, so. And when you start playing people a second time, that's when it gets tough.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about it, the good thing is, Blackman and Riverdale both got our attention the first time we played them because they both really should have beat us, I believe. I think the football gods just had the ball bounce the wrong way a couple times, and those things happen. You can't really blame it on anything or give credit to anything. At the end of the day, the ball just bounced our way a couple times, and we were fortunate enough to escape with a win at Blackman, and fortunate enough in the rain to win over at Riverdale. So there's no telling who's going to come out in the third round between those two. I got a lot of respect for both those coaches, and they do a good job, but there's no telling. I have no prediction on who's going to come out, and I know this. I don't have much of an idea who's going to come out between us and Mount Juliet. I know it's going to be a tough opponent as well.
Well, I'm sure you're hoping that obviously it's a rematch with one of those two in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. We're got Kevin Creasy with us this morning. I didn't want our time to get away before, and we want to talk about Mount Juliet, of course, but Craig Tutt was named a Mr. Football semifinalist this week, and I'm glad that his body of work did not get overlooked because you've got so much talent there in the backfield, but he does so many things for your team, and that's a nice recognition for that young man.
Yeah, it's a real honor to be nominated for Mr. Football, it's a regular season award, kind of like the Heisman. So, the playoffs don't factor in. That's unfortunate. That's cost us a couple guys winning it, I believe. But I understand, everybody's only guaranteed 10 games. So Craig's had a great 10-game run, and offense and defense, special teams, he does a heck of a job for us. He's just a football player, and he's only a junior, so that's big time for us. And him coming back next year definitely makes things look better for the future. And 9 times out of the last 10 years, 9 out of 10 years, we've had somebody up for Mr. Football. So that shows you that this thing's not as complicated as it might seem. A lot of times it's players, and we've had some good players over the last 10 years. And I don't know anybody else around can brag about 9 out of the last 10 years having somebody up for Mr. Football.
Yeah, most certainly. One of these times, back when you're retired and I'm retired, maybe we could take all of your Oakland teams and put together an all-star team. Yeah. I bet that would be a lineup, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be nice. That would be really good. I could use a few of them right now.
I can imagine. Well, you've got Mount Juliet coming in. Speaking of, wars, I can't remember the year. It hadn't been that long ago. You had to go to Mount Juliet just to keep the playoff season going. You've had some real battles with the Bears.
Oh, yeah. 2018, I'm pretty sure that's the year
you're
bringing
right.
up. 2018, we won the state championship, but our hardest game was against Mount Juliet, at Mount Juliet. Luckily, we blocked a punt, in their territory. Special teams helped us win that game, and we had a Mr. Football kicker, that helped us win that game as well. He flipped the field and one time had a 70-yard punt that like I said, changed the whole game. Yep. Defensive battle with Mount Juliet, and they got all the same coaches, so we're all familiar with each other. And Trey Perry does a heck of a job over there and leading his program, so we expect it to be another tough game.
Well, it's by winning the region last week, you get to stay at home as long as you can keep this thing rolling, which is a nice thing too.
Yeah.
You did it the hard way last year.
Yeah. Going on the road, 3 or 4 times last year was tough, but this year, if we could just keep winning, you got home field advantage. But like I said, 1 week at a time. It's not just a cliche. You really got to believe that.
Coach Creasy, congrats on the win. Good luck on Friday.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Kevin Creasy joining us on the Coaches Show. That is brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Ron Reeves, Emerson Williams. They're all here because they want to help you out. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for